What's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday. Welcome back to The Big Thing. I'm excited to have you here today. I'm excited for the conversation that we're going to have today. Now, if you watched last week's episode with Brett, and not many of you did, we had a fun time. I will say that those people who did watch it had a good time. We knew it. We knew it was going to be. This week is not going to be lunacy, but it is going to be a couple things that I've always wanted to talk about on the show. And if you've seen it and you clicked on it, that's the reason why. I want to talk about two particular things. I want to talk about remote viewing, and I want to talk about the simulation theory. I want to talk about both of those things. I know that Roxy probably believes in both of them. I'm pretty confident that my other guest, DJ, doesn't believe in it because he doesn't believe in shit. Known skeptic, my buddy DJ Woolridge. Very excited to have him on. And we're going to talk because DJ also has a very exciting project that I want to talk to him about also. And speaking about exciting projects, the Capes and Cowls comic book. It is available, guys. It's available now, and the link's in the description. We'll talk about that in a second. Roxy hasn't seen herself depicted yet in comic book fashion, if you will, and I'll show that to her. So what I'd like to show to you guys right now is the subscribe button. Hit it. Right now, only Roxy knows this either. We're at 122,000. We're approaching 123, hoping to get to 200 before the year's end, but we need you guys to do it. Hit that button. Be a part of the conversation. Like, comment. It helps the algorithm. All right, let's do it. Let's have a conversation. Yes, we're going to talk about TV also. Don't worry. Have Roxy here. We got to talk about some TV shows. I want to know what the latest and greatest is. I'm watching a lot more TV these days. Roxy will be proud of me. And we'll talk about that. So it's the big thing. Let's do it. Cool. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Happy Thursday. Congratulations, man. I figured it out. It is myself, Roxy Stryer, and DJ Woolridge here, and we are excited to be with you all. How you doing, DJ?
Doing all right, man.
Yeah?
Doing all right. Running around like a madman.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you're
Yeah.
So let's just get right into it. You're here to, you're here to talk shop, but you're also here to tell us you reached out and you told me you got a really cool project you're working on. What do you got going on?
Yeah. So if you go to gunplaymovie.com, out here trying to make a movie with one Roxy Stryer. Been trying to do this project for a very long time. Originally, I was going to do a version of this campaign in 2019, had to postpone to 2020. We were filming some proof of concept stuff, and we were all getting like messages like everything's shutting down. I was like, oh man. So now 4 years later, things have changed up a lot. But if you go to gunplaymovie.com, it's on Kickstarter. You can back it right now. It's basically 3 short films that all connect to tell one story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of like Grindhouse style, or?
Grindhouse isn't a bad example. It's more like if you're a fan of something like Good Time, if you're a fan of something like Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
Pulp Fiction's probably a better point of reference.
Right.
Yeah,
Grindhouse is a separate story. Sure.
Yeah. And so and that's kind of why we're doing them together, because the characters interweave. They all kind of like factor in each other's stories. It all takes place on one night. Roxy, do you want to tell them about your character a little bit?
Yeah, I have learned not to say Uber driver. I have to say rideshare driver. We don't know which kind of.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
A legally distinct rideshare service.
I'm a comedian. Kristian, more than most. It's hard out here being a stand-up, so you got to do the rideshare driving as well. And I kind of end up getting myself in a little bit of trouble doing that.
Yeah. So that's one of the shorts. You can just pick one of the shorts, or you can get all 3 of them. The reason people might not know this, because I was thinking, a lot of my friends are part of this. Roxy's in it, Steve Zaragoza is in it, Billy Estrig, Whitney Moore. And I think people could look at it and be like, oh, you're just working with your friends. But if anybody who watches the show has seen Always Lola, they know how talented Roxy is. And
Kristian doesn't like to say it.
That's not true. I said it the other day when I was talking to Andrew I had Andrew on for Patreon. It was the first thing I said.
Kristian watched Always Lola and raved about every other actor on air, the episode that I was not on.
That's not true.
And it was one of those, like, I was in the middle of rewriting and I saw Always Lola. I was like, Roxy can really do this. Like, I think she'd be really great at it. And so I reached out to her, and I'm really grateful for the amazing people we have on board. And yeah, so basically, you've got a drug dealer and a gay-for-pay porn star decide to rob the son of a drug kingpin, and shenanigans ensue, and they end up their lives get entangled with a bunch of different lowlifes and scumbags.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really fun, exciting, irreverent, fast-paced movie. But the thing is, and I think this is becoming more true, the pathway towards making movies is becoming narrower. And so, which is why we're going to crowdfunding. And it's an opportunity for the audience to show up and say, like, if this is the type of movie you want to see, here's your opportunity to support it. If you want, you can be a producer on it. If you want to see your name in IMDb and on the credits, you can be in it. There's a great poster that's going to be signed by the cast and crew. You can get personalized messages from the cast. There's a lot of opportunities to support it, but also kind of be a part of it. If you've ever kind of wanted to see how the sausage is made, as they say, especially on this level, we're going to be keeping our backers updated. As of this recording, we're on between the day of recording and the going up, we're day 2 or 3, one of those. And so this is kind of like a crucial window to come in and support and set the pace for the campaign. We're doing great so far, and we'd love for you to go to gunplaymovie.com and support it.
The script is sick, Kristian. Like when DJ first sent it to me before I was involved in the project, it's taken, like he said, because of the 4 years, some twists and turns. Yeah. But when I first read it, I was like, fuck, how do I work on this movie? Yeah. And then finally, DJ got to see my movie, and then there was a role for me in this. And when he offered it to me, I was like, it's just such a no-brainer. I remember we got coffee, lunch, and I said to him, I was like, I would pay to be in this. The script is unreal. It's so up your alley, and that's what really sold us all. I mean, I think for everybody, I loved hearing, like, even Steve Zaragoza in the Kickstarter video, he's like, I just want to work with DJ on the project that he made because it's dope, and that's how everybody feels. So hopefully we're able to do this with the help of the people. Yeah,
this is totally backer supported. You guys need, if you want to see this movie happen, and I think you do, you're gonna have to show up and support it.
How is Roxy? Is she great in it? And well, more importantly, how's Steve Zaragoza?
They're all great, and a lot of these roles were written with these actors in mind. And like Bree and Whitney did a short called Palm Swings that they're really great in. Obviously, I've worked with Steve a lot since SourceFed days. Yeah, and they're really talented, versatile people, and it's cool to be able to not just work with them, but maybe give them an opportunity to do stuff. Because that's kind of another thing is, in this industry, you're kind of like put into a lane, you know, and so allowing people an opportunity to kind of stretch their wings and do different stuff. Yeah. And
good for the reel.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. Yeah, I've never seen Steve do anything like this before. I think that's going to be a cool one.
Yeah. He's a very talented dude. And, and do you do stuff with him together?
Spoilers.
I looked over at DJ.
Spoilers.
As you notice, as I'm talking about anything, I look over. I'm like, DJ?
I'm trying to get the scoops here.
Well, it's tricky with Kickstarter too because like you want to, the first layer of pitching to people is people like Roxy, you're the cast and everything. Like, hey, is this for the script? Would this be something you're into? And then you're kind of pitching to the audience, so you want to give them a clear picture of this is what you're investing in. They're investors, and so you want to give them a clear picture of what this project looks like without having to lay out every single detail in hopes that, because you want them to be able to experience it as an audience member as well.
Yeah. You're creating a vibe, which I think you did. The Kickstarter looks sick, DJ. Like,
thank you.
Did you make the art on that?
I mean,
all the photos.
Glad you asked that because we did. Cam Rice shot some of our photos. Ken Whiting, who's going to be our DP, shot some of our photos. I unfortunately, due to scheduling stuff, had to shoot some of our photos, and I'm not a photographer. But I think another thing that I think is cool about this is in an era of like on the Kickstarter page, I literally had to you now have to answer a question of like, is there any AI involved in this? And I had to be like, no, this is handcrafted. This is us making this. You know what I mean? This is so all those assets and stuff, those were made by me. You know what I mean?
They're really good. They're really good. I'm an unbelievably harsh critic, and I was looking at it, I was like, this looks, I mean, you're such a pro, DJ.
It's actually a compliment, too, when someone says now, is that AI? Right? Because I had that the other day. I made a thumbnail, and someone says, is that AI? I was like, hell no, did it myself.
Well, you killed the thumbnail game, Kristian.
Thank you. Yeah. It took a while.
And we got some prints in there, and somebody asked me, like, did you use like a template? I'm like, no, I just built it. I just built it out.
Yeah.
And so
I don't know how you did that. There's some images that I was just like, wow.
Well, I did have a little bit of time. This campaign was supposed to happen mid last year, so I had a little extra downtime.
Yeah, it gives you time. It's supposed to happen when it's supposed to happen. Right? So, well, that's great.
Okay,
So check out-
universe. Is that your segue into do you believe that we're in a
100%.
simulation?
Actually, no. I had a better segue, but you just shit on it. So thank you, everybody, for being here for this today. And make sure you support not only DJ, obviously, but Roxy and Steve and Whitney, everybody who's involved in it. Make sure you check it out. I'll put the link in the description. Speaking of other things that Roxy's in,
I want to see.
Cape Town, you haven't seen it yet, right?
So what am I looking at?
This is a comic book that the great Wicked Art did, and so there's 3
this was
issues.
on the Patreon exclusive at some point, right?
It's
Where
still,
I saw.
so you still can get these issues exclusively
Digitally.
when they come on Patreon digitally, yes, but you can get the hard copy, and I put that in the description as well. But there's 3 issues. What I'm going to have everybody do is come in and record their actual lines in here, and then I'm going to put music over it, and we're going to do like a full-on Capes and Cows episode with all of, like, basically a live comic book.
So fun. Let me see me.
Yeah, so this is, so you are right. Oh, I just had you, and then I lost you.
Do I look incredible?
You do look pretty. I think you're. I don't want to spoil it, but you're one of the bad guys.
Yeah. Well, surprise to no one.
But
oh my God, that
isn't that
looks
great?
awesome.
Yeah, I think you're talking to Winston in that one.
I can't say what I say.
You can give a quick line.
No, I'm just okay. Oh, I'm talking to Winston.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he said, "Mr. Marshall, you're sure dressed to stand out." I don't know if that's me. My name's Roxy. I was just wondering. These events are usually black tie affairs. I'm in a non-black tie outfit. Aren't you a little worried you will draw too much attention? Oh, he's very much so in a
Suave.
maroon. Yeah.
Yeah. So Winston's in there, and then you see
That's the
who's on.
difference
Roxy,
part.
hold up that.
Wait, I want to. Can I show them this page?
Yeah, sure.
This is sick.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Look at me.
It's pretty amazing. So will you hold up the one that DJ has, so you can
Case and Cows.
Yeah, Roxy.
Oh my God.
Come on, hold it up. Hold it up.
You're
Come on.
such a creep.
No, I'm the best. I
No.
got some good lines in that one.
What
you gotta
is-
see what I do.
Like what? What do you do?
Oh, me? What? That's probably. I mean, Steph, we're trying to get your rotten little ass.
Is Steph in here?
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, Steph's in there.
What is she doing?
Yeah, don't worry about it. Read the motherfucking comic book.
That's
You find
a good
out.
point. Okay.
Hell yeah! Look at me. Look at my balls. Look at them. They're just hanging out. Yep.
They're on the ground.
That's
How
the
do you
closest
move?
you've ever been. Hell yeah.
Oh,
at that.
wait, does Steph have green hair?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, she does.
That's sick.
It's so good. Anyway, so the comic.
Wow,
is
this is
there.
really great
It's
art.
It's really great. So you guys can get it. So make sure you check it out.
You know that's what DJ does, like all his comic books that he's released. Have you ever seen them?
No.
Oh my God.
I'll bring it next time.
Please,
They're
please.
sick.
Yeah. So
Look at you guys go.
So
That's my word of the day. Sick.
these are great, though. I love these also because of what Wicked really put a lot of effort into it. So, and you can get the exclusives when they come out on Patreon. Now, we've seen each other 24 hours ago. Not even.
Yeah.
We were all at the Argylle.
I want to be
Screening.
sedated.
Oh yeah, because of the movie.
Yeah, in 2020, 24 hours ago.
Perfect. I want to read There's the Argylle reviews are in. This is Dark Horizons. The Argylle reviews are in. The reviews are in for Matthew Vaughn's Argylle, and the reaction, not good. Bryce Dallas Howard stars as Ellie Conway, a reclusive but successful author who finds the plots of her fictional best-selling espionage novels about a secret agent named Argylle and his mission to unravel a global spy syndicate begin to mirror the covert actions of a real-life spy organization. Soon, Ellie and cat-allergic spy Aiden, played by Sam Rockwell, race across the world to stay one step ahead of the killers as the line between Ellie's fictional world and her real one begins to blur. 73 reviews so far at the time of this article, counted on Rotten Tomatoes, 34% among critics, with complaints running the gamut from pacing, agreed, to bad CGI, agreed, to serious structural issues, agreed, as it piles on twist after twist. It's a similar assessment at Metacritic, where the film landed a 40 out of 100. By the time an end credits flashback tries to contextualize all that's come before, the pattern has left our eyes irreparably.
Is that what it was trying to do? Is that what that?
I think so.
Okay.
It was so confusing, that post-credit scene, but
Yeah.
This next quote is from somebody who always knows exactly who I am.
it's hilarious. The studio has asked critics not to reveal the multiple plot twists. This is unsurprising, since those twists underscore the weakness of the screenplay. It's constantly pulling the rug out from under its viewers, only to reveal no floor underneath. That's from Alonso Duralde.
My biggest fan.
I love Alonso. For some reason, we'll talk about it.
I like him a lot
He's the
too.
best.
Why can't he ever remember who I am? Why? Why?
I need to
How do
talk.
I leave such little impression on him that we've met
He's the
50 times?
He's the nicest
Did you hear
human
me
on
say
the
hi to him
planet.
yesterday? Did you hear me say back?
What did he say back?
I said hi. He said hi. No,
He's the best. The movie disappoints by fumbling away most of its wins and piling on double and triple crosses and other trappings of a bespoke espionage world. It's remarkable, really. Argylle has bone-deep structural issues, yada, yada, yada. There's far too much CGI. It goes on for half an hour longer than most fans will allow. What went wrong here? I mean, I'm on the same page with all of that. Sometimes I read some of these and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. All that stuff.
I do have a question. They said they pretty firmly said that Sam Rockwell plays a cat allergic character. Do we feel confident that that's actually the case? Because the movie seems to forget that for long chunks.
It definitely forgets that.
It's like
in the beginning.
He's not. Actually, he is, but he's not now. But he is again, and it's like, all right.
So much so that I thought he just was claiming to be allergic because he hated cats so much, and I was like, oh, maybe that's the joke that they're
because
playing.
he's not allergic at all when he first shows up, and it's like, okay, he's able to hold it, and then he reveals
cats.
that he is, and it's like,
And then he hates them.
So
I think I feel the same way as those people, so I'm not claiming that I don't. But I do feel like
But
that.
you love the movie. No.
No, I
your favorite
definitely
movie
didn't.
also.
Unfortunately, I think I could have though.
yes,
Okay.
Like the script was the main problem of this film, but this was a 2-hour, 19-minute movie. There was an hour and 40-minute movie of the inside this that could have been with slightly different casting and a different, more tailored, tightened script that I could have loved.
sure.
Because there were minutes in this where I was like, that was a fun, like, I'll just say something on a train.
Yeah.
That's fun. What we're doing is fun. I can enjoy this. And then,
Winery. There's one thing in a winery that I thought was fun.
yeah. And then it's like we're somewhere about an hour and 10 minutes in, around there, where I was like, I'm no longer having any fun.
Yeah, you said that to me last night when we were walking out. You're like, I just stopped having fun at one point. I was like, that's such a great way to put it because. And I also agree that there's something in there, and I don't think it's just the script that's the problem. I love Matthew Vaughn. Like, I love Matthew Vaughn. I think Matthew Vaughn's directing is a major, major problem in this movie because he doesn't really get the tone of what he's going for. A few different times he's trying to get something, and what you're saying, it's in there. I was like, I felt myself rooting for it. I'm like, come on. And then it's like, no. It's like someone trying to get a cartwheel down, and they keep like, they're almost there, but they just can't get the legs extended. And I'm like, come on. No. I thought Sam Rockwell, you said this off air before we started going, that Sam Rockwell, though, proved that he could do action, which I agreed. I am a big fan of Bryce Dallas Howard. I don't think she can pull off action. That's nothing. It's not everybody can do it. I don't think Julia Roberts can pull off action, right?
No.
I don't know that she thinks she can pull off action because of the amount of scenes that she clearly didn't film.
Right, because of CGI and other stuff too, right? And it's like almost like I even said to you at one point they have someone do something when she's supposed to be doing it, and they're not even trying to hide that it's not her. And I said out loud by accident, I go, "Who's that?"
Yeah, I don't know that she was the most comfortable with that. The first part of this movie, she's so endearing.
Yes.
And I was like, Bryce Dallas Howard is obviously a very talented actress. Really, really talented. Super likable. Very girl next door in this. And then we go off the rails. I think that the writer of this, though, I believe I saw on the poster that it's Jason Fuchs.
Yeah.
Who I like a lot as a human. We interviewed, I think he wrote for the first Wonder Woman movie. And then he wrote Pan, which...
Yeah.
People didn't love. I got a fact check on this, but he's a good dude. And you're right. Maybe it's not just entirely the script. It was a lot of pieces.
Yeah, I think I agree with you all. I think if it was written and differently and directed differently and cast differently, maybe there's a reality where I would have enjoyed this movie.
Yeah, and it kind of, but that's the
Are you
other.
making fun of us? Or
No,
Yeah.
I just think I thought I was telling Kristian I thought this movie was quite bad, and I thought the last Kingsman movie was quite bad.
I didn't see that.
It's quite.
It had a tone problem. It also had a tone problem.
It had a tone problem, and also the I think the post credit scene like offended me to my core. Like I was like, this is so misguided.
Yeah.
And I just think we need to get.
You talking the post-credit scene for
the last Kingsman. Well, this one's also because I can't even try to unpack it here without spoilers.
Yeah.
I didn't understand
Because it's kind of confusing what it's even trying to accomplish.
It's super confusing, and it also, I think, gives too much credit on something else. It thinks that people are more invested in something than they really are.
We'll talk about this off air.
Yeah.
But
because it's a spoiler, not
because it's a spoiler. Yeah. But I think I would like to see. I like Layer Cake quite a bit. I remember
me too.
liking the first Kick-Ass. I remember thinking the first Kingsman was pretty good.
I love First Class.
I feel like First Class is great.
Yeah.
I just covered that on a show I do covering the X-Men stuff. I feel like somebody needs to take away the spy stuff from Matthew
I
Vaughn.
agree.
Like you did it. You're good. You're done. Do something else now.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I just think and Henry Cavill, you said this off air, Henry Cavill was again kind of wasted.
Yeah, I think we keep.
So is John Cena. So is Ariana
Yes.
DeBose. I mean,
But I think,
there's
like-
a lot of underutilized.
I liked Dua Lipa.
What
Do
I
you know
was,
that Oh my God, Christian.
Did you use Dua Lipa?
Oh my God.
Yes.
No, this is so embarrassing. You really screwed me up. So Christian calls Dua Lipa because he messed it up.
Yeah.
But now he only calls her that. So
Right.
I
And I happen to think she's very talented, by the way.
Yeah.
But I
I
still call her Dua Lipa.
manage a bunch of young interns at one of my jobs, and I'm with a bunch of hip 18 and 19-year-olds. And they were pitching something, and I was like, you should add Dua Lipa.
I love this story so much.
And the way everybody looked at me on the Zoom, like I was the oldest bitch of all time.
it's funny how people.
I
never,
was like, I was, and I tried to explain, and I was like, oh no, I know her name's Dua Lipa, but my friend calls her Dua Lipa.
You can't even call me your friend at that point.
Yeah, it's funny how you never escape.
This old guy that I barely know calls her Dua Lipa. Okay.
You never grow out of wanting teenagers to like you.
No,
You know, when
it's
you're a
so
kid, you want teenagers to like you.
embarrassing.
When you're a teenager, you want teenagers to like you. And when you're adult, it's like, don't judge.
I'll
don't
tell you.
judge your
I'll tell you when
teenagers.
that goes away.
Embarrassing.
Yeah, when you
you're
have
dead.
one. Yeah.
Because I kind of have the opposite effect. I like to do when my daughter is doing the cool thing.
Yeah.
I'll do the most uncool thing to show you, like, at any second, I can embarrass you like that.
But to your point with the John Cena and everything, my broader point was that I think in general we kind of waste Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Hollywood doesn't, because there's moments in this where I'm like, I think Henry Cavill's really capable of more than we let him do. And for
Don't
some
you think
reason,
that's a
we never.
representation problem. Like, why did his reps sign him on to this role?
Why did anybody agree to this movie?
Yeah,
Can
I
anybody explain to me why anybody agreed to this movie?
Because I think people want to work with Matthew Vaughn. I think that's exactly. I think he's.
Yeah,
I think
maybe-
people really like working with him. I think he does. I think this is the one thing I will say. The movie, as much as however it came out, it did look like everybody had fun doing it.
It did. It did. And honestly, there's some people I understand why they would sign on. If Bryce Dallas Howard, for some reason, thought Inside Her is an action star and nobody's given her that shot and she
Right.
wanted to sign on, I get her wanting to take a chance on this. People seeing her in a new light. I don't think it necessarily worked, but that is a reason to sign on to something. Same thing with Sam Rockwell. He's not been able to play roles like this.
Right.
So I get him wanting to sign
He
on.
was the best part of the whole
Yeah,
movie.
he's the only
great.
one that comes out basically unscathed. Like, yeah, he's pretty good.
I think he's more than pretty good. I think he's so excellent.
He's
in
Matt
this.
Nost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think he looks
oh
like
my
him?
God, he looks and talks.
kinda see it.
He looks and sounds just like Matt Nost.
That's
It's
interesting.
insane.
But I don't understand if you are even John Cena, because he takes roles like this sometimes, and we've seen him in things. For Henry Cavill, I don't know why you would read this and be like, maybe he thought it was going to be really funny the way his character was done, so that's why he signed on. But I don't know if I was his reps, I would advise against it because. He's not in that much of the movie. He doesn't make that big of an impact. It's not something different than we've seen him do.
Right. But he does get a stupid haircut.
But he does get a stupid haircut. And maybe he got a dumpster of this movie was so much money.
I'll
so,
bet you I know what it was.
Money?
Money for sure. I mean, that's always. But I also think it was because, remember, at that time, there's a lot of rumors going around that he was up for bond. And he probably said, well, if I throw in, because he's done the spy thing before, but he does it again, maybe in the granted, not in the same vein as, but he's not a goof in the movie. He's a fictionalized character, but he's
kind of a goof.
I said a goofy haircut, but
Like when he's getting thrown and stuff, and it's like
I mean,
he
there's a
does
couple of those.
the
There's a couple of
winking.
those silly moments here and there, but it's more like cheeky than it is like he's not like a big goofball. Like you can still see where he could be like if James. It seemed like a James Bondish type thing. But he was probably going for look. I can do this Bond thing. I can do the spy thing. I can do this. Here's another example, and you probably think that it's going to do well because the first Kick-Ass, or first Kick-Ass. Well, yeah, but the first the Kingsman and everything too. And Matthew Vaughn's a great salesman as well. But I think that it was, and the other thing that I thought was just sold poorly in the trailers was it looked like an adventure that was going to be here's the adventure of Bryce Dallas Howard and Sam Rockwell, and intercut throughout the movie you're going to see the fictional thing too, and it'll all tie together. Henry Cavill's in a little more than a quarter of the movie.
And there wasn't one intercut that I actually thought benefited the narrative in
Right.
any real way.
Right.
I don't think this is a spoiler, but there's an action scene where they intercut between Sam Rockwell and Henry Cavill, and I'm like, narratively, I don't know what this is accomplishing.
Right. That she's maybe out of her mind.
Yeah, because it's not other than making this fight scene look kind of bad. It's or at least messing with the pacing of it. I don't know.
It was definitely messing the pacing.
It'd be one thing if it was we see Henry Cavill's version and he's Superman, like he's the Witcher, like he's snapping necks and cashing checks, and then we see Sam Rockwell and he's kind of fumbling his way through it.
Right.
But they're both really capable.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't.
Yeah, it's the same.
If
Yeah,
this
that
is supposed
was
to make
weird.
me connect that, like, could this be the real Argylle? It's
And
like,
it
well,
also
I just
doesn't-
need to see him do spy stuff, and
Yeah.
then I'll think that.
And especially for where the story eventually goes, it's not relevant to
No.
what's going on. Anyway,
It sure isn't.
I also think that they were trying to use that. I don't want to give any spoilers, but like she looks dreamily at Henry Cavill, so like to like kind of justify some things.
Yeah.
But to me, Sam Rockwell is very dreamy as well. So it's like not like she's dealing with
Like,
well,
I
that's
get
why,
that
they put
he's
the,
not-
that's why they put the beard on him.
I
and all
know,
that
but
stuff, too. I
still,
know,
like
it's-
they weren't. It's not like we were dealing with one stud and one like homely.
Yeah, it's not because it's one. He's not Henry Cavill, but he's still Sam Rockwell. He's still a movie star. You know what I mean? Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's 34%. I get it. I get it with I didn't even give my rating to my review when I put it out yesterday, and I would probably go 2.4, 2.5
Out of
5.
Okay.
2.4, 2.5.
So do you think
out of 5.
34 is fair?
Yes, because anything that comes in underneath 3 is rotten.
Do you think it's fair?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it basically,
I
that's,
kind of do too. I feel bad because I want to say like that is not fair. That's so low for this. But walking out, I was like,
yeah. I thought Dupes was good.
dupes.
I thought Dupes was good.
Don't screw me up again with the kids.
I thought Dupes was good.
You're embarrassing me,
She
Christian.
was good.
No.
I liked her. I thought I thought that she didn't have much to do, and she didn't have a lot to do. But what she did, I thought she did
Yeah,
really
she's
well.
subtle and sexy.
Thought
Yeah,
she was
she's
great.
easy on the ice. That's all she needed to do.
yeah.
But I think she brought but an air of cool also, as the kids say, right? Air of cool with Dupes.
No.
Right? Is that what they say?
I don't think so,
You don't
and I'm
think
not
so.
going to test it out on
Fine.
them.
Try it on Skype.
Fool
All
me
right.
once, shame on you.
All right. Anyway, got a couple other things to talk about. But before we do, I want to tell you guys about two of our wonderful sponsors, both AG1 and Magic Spoon. There you go. All right, guys. Let's talk about AG1. You guys know I love AG1. If you've been listening to my show, you've heard me talk about them. And I've been drinking them for about 2 years now. And I love it. Never been a vitamins guy. I've told you that. I take it all one shot. AG1. I put it in a water bottle. I shake it up. I'm good to go. I recommend AG1 to my friends. I recommend AG1 to my family. Everybody. AG1 is a team of doctors and scientists. It is tested for 950 contaminants and NSF certified for sport. It is formulated based on the latest science and maintains high quality standards. You guys know they've been with us for a while because you guys know too. You've all been checking them out, and everybody who's been signing up to AG1 says the same thing. It's changed your energy. It's changed how you approach things in the day. You're smiling more. You're running around the place, and you're sleeping better. I know. AG1 is the supplement that I trust to provide the support my body needs daily, and that's why they've been a partner for so long. If you want to take ownership of your health, it starts with AG1. Try AG1 and you get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3, K2, and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/big thing. drinkag1.com/big thing. Check it out. I'm so excited to have Magic Spoon back. So you guys have said it. You said it to me lately. You go, hey, you lost some weight, man. You're looking good. I've been trying. My New Year's resolution was to cut back on sugar, add protein to my diet, and I stay on track with my fitness goals. So I was excited to get Magic Spoon back on the rotation. Makes it easy, and it's more delicious than ever now. Growing up, I love cereal. And not even just growing up. Recently, I've been trying. I've fired down sugary cereal for a snack, but the problem is when you get older, you got to watch out for those empty carbs because they add up. Magic Spoon has the amazing flavors that you love, but it's got high protein and it's got less sugar. So for me, I did the protein shakes for a bit, but I wanted a delicious way to get my protein before and after workouts, and it's good for a snack. Variety pack, they have cocoa, they have fruity, they have frosted, they have peanut butter. I mix the peanut butter and the cocoa. personally. This pack has 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and about 4 to 5 grams of net carbs. There's only 140 calories per serving. High protein and 0 grams of sugar. It's amazing. So if you go to magicspoon.com/bigthing, you can grab a variety pack and you can try it today. So be sure to use our promo code BIGTHING at checkout to save $5 on your order. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. If you don't like it, any reason, they're going to refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, start the new year off with a great, delicious bowl of high-protein cereal at magicspoon.com/bigthing and use the code BIGTHING to save $5 off. That's magicspoon.com/bigthing. All right, thank you to our friends over at AG1 and Magic Spoon. As Roxy is afraid to tell me, I lost about just around 15 pounds or so, and it's definitely because of both AG1 and Magic Spoon. I can tell you that right now. The Magic Spoon is so helpful to me when it comes to a snack that I need to eat. It's all protein. It gives me that treat that I need. So I highly recommend it if you're looking for those kind of a healthy snack, still tastes good. And then AG1, I've been talking about for 3 years. I really want AG1 to come back. I want him to be back. I want Magic Spoon to come back. So if you're able to and you want to try to better your health, go and get both of those sponsors or one of them and let me know. And it helps out the show and it'll help you out.
You talked about Magic Spoon to me last night. We're at the movie, and you were like, I'm loving Magic Spoon.
I love Magic Spoon. I really do. It's
you know we're not on air right now. You're like, I know.
I didn't care. It's peanut butter, chocolate, put it together. Oh, it's so good.
Where's my Magic Spoon?
I just rewatched one of my favorite movies, Heat, and the way Roxy delivered that made me think of Al Pacino in that movie. I just love Magic Spoon.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love Heat.
Yeah,
We haven't talked about Heat.
So I just rewatched it. I was like, this movie's
so good. He's got some of the best lines. Who?
Yeah.
Who? What are you, an owl?
Dude,
I went a few years ago to see Michael Mann talk about it at the theater in Westwood. They were playing it, and then he was talking about it. It was so
Did you read the novel, the second one?
Did I read the second one?
He released Heat 2 as a novel, but I think he's making a movie.
And they're going to make a movie out of the
but
novel.
it's a prequel. It's Heat 2, but it's a prequel.
I thought you were asking me a trick question.
It's both.
Oh, okay.
It's both.
Did you read it?
I have it, but I haven't read it.
No.
But I have it.
No.
It's sitting on my side. It's my next book to read, but I have it.
Is it?
Yeah, no, it is. I've been wanting to because I'm like torn because I'm a Heat fanatic, right?
Yeah.
So, and I want to know the prequel stuff, but I also don't because I know they're making a movie now.
Yeah.
And I almost don't want to get spoiled, but I'm like, I don't know. But he wrote it, so I'm like, maybe. But yeah, it's like it's before all the stuff. So Neil is in it in the prequel stuff, and then obviously it's more about Vincent and the.
Gotta film soon then. We gotta.
Well, I
film
don't
sooner rather than later.
I wonder if they're even gonna have Al. I know that who were they? They're rumoring a lot of great people for the prequel stuff. I can't remember. I think
Are they doing CG for everything?
I mean, like deep fake stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope not. I don't know what. I don't think so. I think there was. I've heard so many different rumors, but Michael Mann is asked about it all the time.
But yeah, the diner scene in Heat and the diner scene in Thief. Sometimes I'll just watch those scenes. I've
never
just put those
seen
scenes
Thief.
on. Oh, Thief's amazing.
James Caan, right?
I think I might. For me, I think I might prefer Thief to Heat.
Wow.
But I like them both quite a bit.
Well, you guys out there. Let me ask you about Heat. How many Heat fans do we have out there? I'm sure there's a ton of them. So
Show Heat for Heat.
Yeah.
Heat.
Oh, I wanted to tell you something.
Go ahead.
I did know you were at 122,000. I check in all the time.
Thank you.
That's unreal, Kristian.
Thank you.
That you're gonna absolutely wait. You need to set a higher goal for the year.
I'm trying to get to 2 for the end of the year.
I think you should get to 250.
I don't know. That's gonna be tough.
I
But
don't.
I'll tell you.
You're
And-
flying.
Well, speaking of why, one of the reasons I'm flying because of UAP Tuesdays, DJ on Tuesday.
Yup.
You're a big fan.
Yeah.
As we were talking about a lot of different things about, I am waiting for the day, and I say this that. Especially if a second hearing comes out. I want that, like, when it comes to, like, when there's evidence, when it's outside of the jellyfish stuff, because the second I saw it, I'm like, well, I always say to myself, this is what DJ would say that's not real. But I'm waiting for that ship to land, whatever it might be, wherever it is, whether it's from outer space or from another country.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for it to land, for DJ to text me and go, okay, that one, I think it's this. Like, I'm waiting for that particular conversation for sure.
When will the day come, DJ?
I mean, listen, if somebody shows up on our doorstep, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the stuff I watch, like the astrophysics and stuff like that. Have you heard about the Grabby alien theorem?
What's that?
Okay, so I think it's from the it's one of these guys that studies this stuff, and he's been involved in trying to figure out. I think he's big in you're talking about like the Fermi paradox, which is like, okay, if we've got all these worlds out there, why aren't we seeing signals? Why isn't there any of that stuff? And an answer to that question would be, well, maybe we're early, right? Maybe we're early in the development of the universe, in the fact that there's not a lot of civilizations like ours out there, which is why we're not seeing signals. But that would mean that we're special, and statistically, that's not likely. So the answer to that question would be that maybe statistically, if you're going to become an advanced civilization, you have to show up early, because once a species becomes spacefaring, they take up all the space. So just like there's not a lot of new civilizations springing up around the globe because we've taken up all the space. All the advanced civilizations have taken up the space. Maybe that's true of the universe. So maybe we are early, and that's not special. Maybe to grow into an advanced civilization, you all need to be early. So they use this as kind of, and I'm giving you the like. Anybody look up, because I'm pulling this from memory from stuff I was looking at months ago. So look this stuff up. Double check me, please. Sound off in the comments. So, but they did a modeling. They modeled like where planets, basically they did some algorithmically modeled like where populated planets might be, and if those civilizations expanded out at fractions of light speed, because nothing's able to travel faster than light, when might we run into another advanced civilization? Taking out off this model, when do you think we might?
Well,
but now you're asking.
I'm asking.
Yeah, but that's the thing, that from where the stuff that I've been paying attention to, the stuff that they've even said. So just to let you know, because I know you don't, and it's not your fault. So the mainstream media doesn't cover a lot of this stuff too, the way other things do. They had a skiff, which is like basically a lot of the senators and congresspeople. They went in to talk to people who gave them information. They got more information of things about some of these claims that David Grush had made. And most of the theories are not, because I agree with you. I don't think it's possible for travel the light. It's not, and a lot of people don't. David Grush doesn't think it does either. But with quantum,
what are you saying? You don't think it's possible?
Faster than light travel.
Faster than light
travel. I don't. So I don't disagree with anything that you're saying. Your guy is saying. But what is way more likely, what a lot of these people say though too, and when you look at, I'm not going to pretend that I understand quantum physics. I wish I did. So one thing I understand, like, it's just such a bizarre, crazy thing. What quantum physics people say, not everybody who believes it, but knows that it's possible, is that being able to bend space and time and being able through dimensions and things of that nature is way more likely than light speed.
Yeah.
That's and that's what even the Congressman Luna, who said I think she kind of slipped and said that David Grush had said officially that it was interdimensional, that this is the stuff that they had. And
you think he told that to her in a skiff and she slipped that out loud?
I think the way that it's a longer conversation, but I think that there's things that have been said, and he's mentioned he's mentioned that very thing, that it's that people who are thinking light speed and away from different planets and not having the capability, that they're thinking in the wrong way, that it's more interdimensional and it's more these, but he didn't say matter of factual. The way she made it seem was that it was matter of factual. So yeah, no, I don't think that it's going to happen. That would happen light speed. I don't think that I think it's just too hard to do, but I think it is way more possible, especially when you look at all the potential, like what a lot of these military people have said with water and water travel and all those types of things that could potentially have we don't even have the capability, we wouldn't have the capability of doing. The fact that military pilots have seen things going into the water, whatever these things might be, whatever they might be, they're going into the water, they're coming out of the water, they're going up, they're moving at different speeds and all these, and like, you can tell me anything you want to tell me what you think it is. If anybody tells me balloons anymore, I'm going to lose my mind.
I did text you that about one thing that you saw.
Everyone.
I'm not saying
no,
that. Oh, okay.
That wasn't about you. That wasn't about you.
I thought that was a shot at me.
That is not a shot. That is not a shot at you. That is a shot at everyone. everyone was just, it's balloons. What are balloons doing floating over an Iraq base in 2000
and then zipping off on a motor?
It's balloons. I hate the balloons. One I hate the balloon, the Roswell balloon, all this. You give me anything else, you give me fine. Balloons is the stupidest thing.
Even if it is balloons, don't tell them it's balloons.
Exactly, 100%. I just hate it.
But to finish that thought, but based on the model, I want to say the number was insane. I want to say it was like 50 million years. We're not going to run into other advanced civilizations for another 50 million years.
If you're looking at light speed. If you're looking at light speed.
Because you're talking about other civilizations, other locations. You're talking about something completely different.
Something completely different. So I don't disagree with that. But that's not what most people are talking about inside of this particular conversation.
Okay.
There are some that think, because right away when you think about it, the average person says, "Oh, spaceships, why are they flying? Why are they crashing if they're so advanced?" That's the stuff that comes out all the time. But there's a lot of different conversations. But that you can see all this on Tuesday. Tuesday. That's not. But I am curious about, because when it comes to other things, as far as like I mentioned, like remote viewing. Are you guys familiar with the kind of remote viewing?
A little bit.
This is one thing. So do you watch the Y-Files?
No.
I feel like you'd like the Y-Files because the Y-Files, what they do, the Y-Files to me is like a channel I could see you creating.
Okay.
This is part of the Elon theory, though. No, it's not his theory, but what he believes.
The Y-Files?
I think you're thinking of I just blanked. You blinked on it. I just blanked on it. No,
like that we're all simulation
theories.
Yeah, but I thought that the remote viewing is a portion of. They're not linked.
I don't think so. I mean, maybe, but not. They're two different topics for today, for sure. But the Y-Files is a channel that I recently got into. But basically, what it is, the approach that this guy takes is that he it's like that old school kind of kids programming where he's sitting there, he's telling you something in front of the camera, and he pops up slowly into the camera, and then he's got like this goldfish that talks, right? But he's talking about like a real event. So let's say it's like there's a particular event where there's a rumor that there's an actual guy who time traveled. And he tells you about all the events and all the things that happen inside the time travel thing and what people say it is and the mystical part of it. Yeah. And then he ends it by saying, was this person time traveling, or was it actually this? And he gives he gives you both sides of it. And a lot of times, it's like he kind of, it's not debunking, but he gives more of the kind of maybe like the realist point of view of it. Yeah. But there are times he's like, I don't have an answer for that, and I'm not sure what it might be. But he covered that. He covered a lot of these. It actually relates to what we're talking about previously with the things going underwater and potentially water bases, whatever there might be, and then remote viewing. And he talked about all these remote. You know that remote viewing was a CIA program. Because there was a CIA program that they had that essentially was that there are people who are able, and apparently every human has the ability to do it, and it's one of the reasons.
With objects, right?
It's
moving
like
things with your mind.
That's more telepathy and what's it called, telekinesis. But But no, it's more so like just being able to put your consciousness somewhere else and being able to see other things and being able to, like, if you're closing your eyes and you're being able to put your consciousness in, I don't know, at Disneyland. And being able to see what the CIA this program was doing was essentially giving coordinates to people, letting them see what was going on, and then having those people report back. So there's one particular guy, and I can't remember the names. I'm always bad with names. So anybody who ever watches my show is like, "Oh, this guy doesn't know the names." I'm never gonna know the names. Like this, and do
Bob.
the research.
Call them all Bob.
No, the funny thing is the guy's name actually might be Bob, but either way, he was like one of the most like what they said, one of the more powerful remote viewers. Worked for the CIA for a little bit, saw other technology inside of Mount Hayes, I believe it was.
Wait, so Kristian, they give you coordinates, but no cameras or anything. They just say, "Here are the coordinates. Can you put yourself there?" Essentially,
yes. And then
and tell us what you see.
And tell you what you see. So this guy saw something inside of a mountain, saw a base, saw figures, didn't seem human. Is what he particularly said. Then there's other things that he saw, but then he wound up 3 months into working with the CIA, wound up essentially getting murdered in Las Vegas. Now, in the Y-Files, what they say is that, and this is again why I think it's something like you, DJ, like right away you'd be like, well, did they keep him quiet? Like me right away goes, well, they keep him quiet because he knew about the alien bases. his point of view was, or was it potentially because if this program was something, and even if they didn't know if it was real or not, was he killed by Russians at the time? It's the middle of the Cold War when it happened, and that's another potential theory is that the Russians said, well, we don't want you spying on us, whether it's real or not real. See you later, pal.
Yeah.
Also a potential thing, but then they had other people come in and start remote viewing, seeing the same thing that this guy did, talking about water bases, all these other things, and just the idea was that and then the CIA eventually shut down the program. And the question was one of the main reasons that they shut down the program was because that they realized that most humans, if taught, could do this. And that means then there's no way to keep secrets anymore at all. So I guess the first question, I mean,
You believe this?
I don't know. I don't know what I believe as far as that goes. I mean, what I do know as far as consciousness goes, I do know that there are times where I have closed my eyes and I can visually see something like, whether it's a body of water, whether it's trees, whether it's anything, I can visually see it as if it's right in front of me. Now, that just might be I have a very good imagination.
Or memory.
Well, no, because sometimes it's stuff that I've never even seen before. I know sometimes it's in like maybe new structures or other things like, and I can envision it. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm remote viewing. It means, again, that I'm just, oh, wow, I can actually, maybe I have a powerful enough imagination that I can see details inside of trees and I can see certain things. And it's also like there are things inside, there are certain physicists who think the theories are that dreams are not necessarily dreams and images that you're putting together, that it is other dimensional. Whether, again, that's true and whether I believe that, I don't know. What I don't definitively say is that's not true or that is true, because I don't know. But I'm very curious because this is not UFOs. This is not the stuff like when it comes to, because you were very much fascinated in like physics and space and time and that type of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So how do you feel about, like, what's your thought process on this?
I tend to be agnostic about most things. Like I grew up in a religious community, and I think I still, you don't know what you don't know. I think my question, if I were to look at that something critically, I would want to know how does it work, because the way you see, it's similar like. My wife loves the ghost shows, right?
Right.
And we've been on the ghost, with the Queen Mary or whatever, like the whatever. And you'll hear sounds. It's like, how's the ghost generating? Like if you hear a voice, we generate it because of our vocal cords, and it creates. How would you don't have vocal cords, you don't have any tangible presence. How are you supposed to be making a sound? Similarly, if I'm not in a room, the way I see things is light comes into my eye. I've evolved that my eye can take in that light and is able to determine it as shapes. How does that work if I'm not in a room? What am I seeing?
Right.
You know what I mean? That would be the question. Like that, I think that would be the question you need to answer if you're in, because then I'm actually more curious about what somebody like Roxy would say, because you said you kind of fall on because to me what you're talking about is spirit stuff. Right. And which whether that's you're getting, to me, that takes it to a level of like, you're outside of your body. I know I've talked to Roxy, and she said she's somewhere on the atheist agnostic spectrum. So I would be curious about how, because to me, you're verging when you're talking about stuff like that, like psychic stuff, you start verging on the spiritual, because you're not talking about the tangible then. So then you're talking about something outside of the tangible. Yeah,
it's interesting because when in your opening, Kristian, I think you were like, I'm sure Roxy is more on board with this than DJ, but I have 1,000 times easier of a time thinking that there are aliens than that people can see things in places they're not. Like, to me, that is just so much more likely that there are aliens among us, or people or species or whatever that were not from this time and place, or time or place, or some version of that currently, than it is that a human being could see inside a mountain that they're not in. That's not me saying that that's impossible, but to me, it's so much more of a stretch. It's hard for me to get there because, like you said, DJ, to me, it doesn't play as much with science as it does with the spiritual world. Yeah. Which I have never had a connection to, never been able to.
Yes. And so for me, like, I would like to think there is an intangible aspect of myself that is endures and not necessarily tied to my tangible physical self. I'd like to believe that. And so I am open to, I mentioned that as I'm amenable to the idea of that there are, I mean, there's parts of the color spectrum that our eyes have not evolved to see, but they ultraviolet, you know what I mean, infrared, stuff like that. So there are aspects to, not that there is not a scientific explanation, that there is not one to be found. It's one of those, like, that would be the core question to answer. It's like, okay, so what is there receiving the image that's being put into your brain?
Sure, but I mean, I also think that there's something to be said about, and this is one of the things that, first of all, I don't know why the CIA, there's even a document of the actual program. It's not like they made it
the
up.
CIA burned a lot of money on stuff.
But, but it is also, but why put that much effort into it for years, burning money, but enough to where someone in the CIA believed it.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
I believe.
That's
so
what I mean.
I'm not sitting here saying I don't think that happened.
No, I know.
I definitely.
You just don't know if necessarily what
if
they
it
were doing.
worked
If it
or-
worked,
yeah.
right? Sure, but I just think that enough that they did it, and I also don't take stock in. Well, you know, we know everything about our minds, and we know everything that because we've been here long enough. We've discovered everything about our minds. I think that's ignorant. I think that there's a possibility that we are not fully evolved. I think there's a way.
Well, we're definitely not fully evolved. We continue to evolve. I mean, we still have organs in our bodies that we don't use now.
Well, that's what I'm
Like,
saying. So there's ways. So do I necessarily believe this particular thing? I don't know.
No.
I'm not. I don't say no. I don't say yes because I don't know, because I think the brain is more powerful than we even know. I think that there's things that we can do that we'll never do. It's not to say that in 1,000 years, the human. It's why the X-Men was that came from an idea of what eventually you look at what human beings were like 1,000 years ago.
Do you believe in mediums?
Again, I don't say no to things. I won't say yes right away, but I don't say it's because I'm not as confident. This is not a slight at you. You have your convictions, and that's what I admire about you. But I can't say to where you definitively say I don't believe that.
No.
I can't get there a lot of times with a lot of things because I just feel that there's more out there in general that I think that maybe there is, and who's to say? But there's also there's a merit to it. I think you might have said this in the last time you were on the show, that when someone dies or someone's almost death, that something happens chemically in the brain that might induce a hallucination.
Yeah.
It might induce, and that's what that is. But I'm also not going to say, and that very well could be the logical explanation, but I'm also not going to say that it doesn't open up another dimension, that it doesn't open up a possibility of other things, because I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's why that's where I stand on it. On a lot of mediums, whatever it might be.
Yeah. I hear you on that. I think that is why and DJ talking about the spectrum, even from when you started to know me to now, I used to describe myself as an atheist. I do now describe myself as agnostic, because who am I to say this doesn't exist? I have no idea. Did I tell you about the weirdest situation that happened to me about the Bruce Springsteen thing? Did I tell either of you guys about this? With my mom?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did tell you.
Yeah, you did.
So the point being, there's always things that, because I know that we don't have that much time, but there's always things that come up where I'm like, that make you question everything that you think you believe anyway.
Yeah.
You're just like, I have no idea if that's real or what is real. So I don't know. Maybe people do see inside mountains, and I'm not capable of it, or I've never tried it, or if I thought I could, then maybe I could. But also, the skeptic in me is like, the CIA is already giving them coordinates. Why?
Well, no. But it's not like it's not just the coordinate. Let me send you that
yeah,
episode.
I'm curious.
Let me send you that episode. You watch
the CIA
watch
is
that
giving me
episode.
coordinates, and I'm like, something's going on there.
But they give certain. They say, look at these particular coordinates. Look at these particular things. They just give numbers. What is going on there? They don't give you anything else. What is going on there? They don't tell anybody else as far as. I'll send you both the episode.
No.
I want to send you the channel because, like I said, I think that you'll enjoy the channel because it doesn't take this is a definitive. This is what it is. It gives quite the opposite of this. Like, there's mystical things, but there's probably an explanation to a lot of it.
But at the end of the day, and this is always my problem with the other theory that we had mentioned,
Simulation theory.
simulation theory.
I remember this time.
I don't think it's helpful for me. like say that we are in a simulation. That's essentially what the simulation theory is.
Yeah.
I don't think it's helpful for me to know that, so I don't care to know
To
that.
be in the Matrix.
Yeah, that's kind of my stance on the simulation theory. It's like, okay, so if we live in a simulation that is robust enough to get everything down to the tiniest atom out to the larger universe, how is that functionally different than the universe I live in?
That's true.
It's not. So I don't. It's not.
Yeah, it's just not helpful.
Yeah.
To me, knowing and believing, truly believing that there is other life than us, or there's life that's able to get here and there's something bigger, I think it is helpful to me.
You know what's crazy though about that is it's the same thing where that channel covers the simulation theory as well. I was fascinated to find out that most physicists, a lot, I should say, the percentages are higher that believe in the simulation theory than they do in alien life and all those
I
things
know.
too.
Because
I've been seeing
and it's
that.
important, I think, to distinguish. And I hope I phrased this correctly. Simulation theory is kind of like Schrodinger's cat. Like the Schrodinger's cat is not. They didn't put a cat in a box. It's a thought experiment. And I want to say the simulation theory breaks down in I think it's 3 components. Oh, I'm gonna have to pull this from memory. And it's one of those like if we are ever able to create a computer program that is able to simulate life or simulate the universe as we know it, this goes back to what I was talking about earlier, where we're not special, then what are the chances of that we are actually in a simulation? But that is dependent upon the idea that we are capable of building a computer that is able to simulate out the universe to the tiniest atom. And that in itself is a reach, similar to going to Schrodinger's cat. The idea being if there's no observers, but in that thought experiment, the cat is an observer.
But yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, for
So
sure, but-
that breaks down.
it's that episode to me kind of would definitely blew my mind when I watched it because of what it posed. But it's also, if you think about it, you've both done VR, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at the VR now, and there's times when you're doing the VR and you're like, oh, and you move or you bump into something, and that's like the 8-track of what VR will be, right? So, and this is, again, as you asked me before, do I believe that we're in a simulation? This one I'll be closer to say no. I'll say closer to say no, but I won't say no definitively, because the same thing that I start thinking of is, all right, well, you've got this VR that is, again, an 8-track. What's VR going to be like in 1,000 years from now?
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to be like this? You know, are we even going to be here? You know, but is it going to? But is
Can you be born with it in your eyeballs or whatever?
that's what I mean.
What do you know definitively, Kristian?
that this show will be over in less than 20 minutes?
And that's it?
That's about it.
I honestly,
No, I don't know. I just that's a loaded question. You know, if it's certain
it is,
things
but
gotta-
you like DJ, you were saying is taking stance like I know this to be true, I know this not to
Yeah.
be true, and
I mean,
I wouldn't say I know. I say I have beliefs that I'll stand
Yeah,
by.
beliefs that you stand
that's
by.
more so. That's more so.
do you have that?
Yeah, I mean, but I think it depends. I think it depends on what it is. I think when it's like larger kind of things that we just can't explain, there's more of that. I mean, because there's
But about when it comes to religion, spirits,
I won't-
the earth, aliens,
Tell
is there
us
any
your religious
stance?
belief on air. Yeah.
No,
but
I don't mean that. I just
I know what you mean.
genuinely mean. Is there anything that you feel super strongly that you know that you think
No.
you've got it right?
I can't.
Nothing.
No, I can't. I mean, more so. I definitely have more of after the stuff that I've been paying attention to and listening to, that I don't think balloons. I don't think speed of light travel for these things, for these UFOs. I don't think that, because you had said this, and I don't know if I brought this up to you in the air when you said this, like, because a lot of people have said this, not just you, about these things.
DJ?
Yes, about the UFOs that the government wouldn't be able to hold it secret this long. Is what you said, and a lot of other people said. They haven't. Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking about it. And
Yeah, I would couch that in that, to me, because I think we can all agree that would be discovering that there is other sentient life, either in another reality or a reality, is probably the biggest thing that would ever happen.
right.
So to me, that's like saying, because I try to think of an appropriate example, and it's hard to find one of that scale. That would be like saying to me that in living in a reality where not only did the government keep the creation of the nuclear bomb a secret, and by secret I mean to where it's not like taught in history books and common
Right,
knowledge.
but they did keep it secret, the program, for a while.
It would be like telling me that the government was able to keep the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki a secret to this day, where I would be like, I don't know if it happened. And it's like
That was too many civilians involved.
But you've told me that like you think like thousands of people.
That's hundreds of thousands in one event. I think thousands of people over many different smaller events, and all of their stories are conflicting with each other, not in terms of they're telling opposite stories, but they're different events.
I understand. But I will tell you something I do believe. And this is not, and again, this is not saying that this is not commenting on anybody's experiences or whatever. But I do think when you talk about simulation theory, and when you talk about aliens, and when you talk about God and stuff like that, and this is not saying that any of these things are not true, but I do think people's fascination with them, and I find this interesting, I think comes from there's something in us that we want to feel like we're being observed. You know what I mean? Like that idea, if a tree falls in the forest, nobody hears, does it exist? We want to believe, and throughout history, we've wanted to believe. And I think to us, the idea that if there's something bigger than us watching us, that means what we're doing matters. If God is watching us and cares, what we do matters. If aliens are coming to visit us, that means we're doing something that matters. If we're in a simulation, somebody built it, we're being observed. And I find that interesting. And again, not saying, and this is not me saying that proves that these are not true. I'm just saying I think part of our fascination with it as a species, whether it is true or not, and I wonder what component of us, what is it about us that makes it that way? What is our fascination with wanting to feel like we're being observed?
I feel like that there's a lot of truth in that. Yeah. I do, but from the stuff that because I've been doing this for 7-8 months now, and the stuff that kind of the rabbit hole that we've gone down with Riley and I and Roxy and others who've been paying attention to this thing. I'm more so and believe that if there is other life that has been here, they've been here longer than us. That's one of the first things. So, and the other thing is inside of that, again, use the Y files of one of the things that was kind of reported on in that CIA thing was that these things look at us the way that you and I look at birds, that they don't give a fuck about us. Some do. Some people love birds, right? Some people don't give a shit. They see a bird, they go, okay, fine, let's just make sure the bird doesn't have a nuclear weapon in its hand, right? So I'm more so on that side of things. If my mind goes anywhere towards like, yes, if I think that they are here, what do I think? I do think there's a lot of merit of some people who do feel that way. I don't feel that way because I don't think they're here to visit us. I think we've been. Where does that come from?
I don't know.
I hate this program.
It's celebrating the point you made. It's celebrating the point
it's going to be edited up. But you know OBS pretty well, right?
It's been a while since I've used it, but yeah.
So there's this new thing that they start doing for some reason, like
it's like a
but whatever. It's like buttons and fireworks and all this shit. Like, and you can turn it off. I turned it off on. Someone told me to turn it off Zoom. That didn't work. And it keeps happening, and sometimes it freezes my camera when it does it.
Yeah, ever since I started using StreamYard, I stopped using OBS.
Yeah, he hates the audio.
No. StreamYard, I hate the audio on StreamYard. Because when you talk over one another, it distorts the audio.
Yeah.
So that's why I love it.
Well, and honestly, I'm not doing it in person, so StreamYard is useful in that sense.
I got a better program for you. It's called, do you know Video Ninja?
You know what? I think Adam Hlavik might use Video Ninja.
And you can plug it into OBS. You go back. It's like this.
Gotcha.
And it doesn't do that StreamYard thing. All right, let's go back to home. Where was I before that stupid thing?
We were talking about observation, and you feel like there's people that do feel that way, but you don't feel that way. So
who knows? Maybe the observation thing, I think there are other people who do feel that particular way. I don't know. I think the bottom line we all agree is the three of us, all of us, we really don't know shit. Maybe there are some people who do know, who definitively know. And maybe that definitively is exactly what you are theorizing, that no, there's nothing here. It's from a different country. It's this, the theory. We can definitively say this. We just can't tell you, right? And then there's maybe somebody that more on our side of the things when it comes to this. We can definitively tell you that it is this. And I don't know. I want to see what happens with those hearings. But again, that's a Tuesday show. The other theories that we're talking about, simulation theories, and do you believe in the simulation theory? I didn't even know if you.
I think to me it feels irrelevant because essentially it's if you're able to simulate a universe to that degree, how is that different than a universe?
Sure.
You know what I mean? So sure. I think I have not. To me, I've not heard a compelling argument to why that would be the case.
Okay.
You know, what the proof would that for be?
I'm on the same page with you on that.
I am too.
And I think that also, even if it was true, a detriment to the actual reality of it all is the fact that because the Matrix came out, you're like, oh yeah, sure, the Matrix is real. But the Matrix came from somewhere. You know, the idea came from somewhere. It wasn't. This is actual scientific theory that they actually put into play. But that's how we think. It's a society in general. So what movies are there? What TV shows are there? And
I think going back to what you were talking about, DJ, though, about wanting to feel like we matter. So it's a really interesting observation, and I think we do matter. Mm-hmm. I think every single thing we do matters. I think every choice you make matters. I think that even though we're blips on the radar and we'll all be gone and into dust, I still think everything we do matters. I have to think that. Otherwise, I can't be the best version of me, for me personally. So maybe that is why I started to look for things. Doesn't mean they're not there. But it is
absolutely, and that's not me saying that because you could make the argument that, like, let's say if you wanted to take this in a God direction, the reason we have that feeling is because that we are being observed.
Right.
Maybe you can make that argument, right? It's the conversations around if you want to talk about the tangibility of love, what that represents. You know what I mean? Something that I think all three of us would agree to, love existing on some level. But what's the quantification of that? Is there a quantification of that? You know what I mean?
You guys have to be watching Has Been Hotel.
Well, we're gonna we'll do that in a second, and then we'll get into TV, and then we'll get out of here. But last thing, where do you stand on parallel universes? Do you think it's not obviously we can't access them, we don't have the kind of technology to do that, but do you believe in at least the theories of them? Because
if you look at, like, what is it, the split light experiment, the stuff like that, I think I'm sure why not. You know what I mean? When you look at the theories of the structure of the universe, but even with the multiverse, there's a lot of different theories on how that would work. I do think when it comes to that stuff, we're punching a little bit above our pay grade into what we're able to quantify and stuff like that. But because to me at that point, you're like, we basically haven't even left our own backyard.
Right.
You know what I mean? And let alone explore our universe. And now, like, but what about other ones? It's like, I mean, maybe, but at that point you might as well be talking about magic.
Well, what do you think, Rox?
I don't know. No. I would say yes more than no, only because I don't know. So therefore, maybe more likely yes than no.
Yeah, because you could even, when it comes to multiverse, you could even say it's that this universe is infinite, and if you go far enough, you're now in a copy of this. You know what I mean? Right. It's not less that, like, they're vibrating. I think like Flash, it's like they're vibrating at different frequencies, but on top of each other, that sort of thing.
It's all fascinating, regardless. And
what do you think?
I do. From just when you hear certain physicists talk about it, and you hear just the idea behind it, and how I think that it's definitely. I don't think it's something we can access. I agree with you. But I do think that. Yeah, I do think it's layered upon. I think that just space and time and the way things work. It's not time and space work very differently for us here as where they would work, whether it's on a different planet, whether it's a different, again, as we mentioned before, with dimensions and things like that. Some people have theorized that potentially these things are going back and forth with different universe and back and forth. So who knows?
Completely. I mean, like, I didn't even take high school chemistry. So I can't sit here and pretend that I am this is my genius. Right. It's not. Here's what I know. There's much smarter people than I am in this arena that believe yes. So, like, when I go to the doctors and they tell me, hey, this is what you need to do, I don't get why or what, but,
you do it 'cause they're a doctor,
but I know you're a doctor.
Right.
So then I tend to believe what you're saying because you're a doctor.
But the same argument, there are a lot of very smart physicists who don't believe in the multiverse.
Yeah,
and
so
don't believe in parallel universes.
Then maybe not.
Yeah, right. So I don't know. Anyway, there's a lot. There's a lot there. But we ain't done yet. I want to talk some TV before we get out of here. And so before we do that, I want to tell you guys real quick about our sponsors, both NUTRAFOL and Blue Chew. That's right. Let's do it. Blue Chew. Hey guys, did you know that 80% of men will experience hair thinning in their lifetime? It's normal, but it doesn't have to be your fate. Get ahead of it with NUTRAFOL, which is a clinically tested hair growth supplement for men. I love NUTRAFOL. Love NUTRAFOL. If you've been listening to this show, you know that NUTRAFOL's been with this show for a while because I can speak very highly of them. Why? NUTRAFOL is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand with over 1 million people seeking thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding. NUTRAFOL is no joke, man. You can take the first step to visibly thicker, healthier hair because for a limited time, NUTRAFOL is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to NUTRAFOL.com/men. But you got to enter that promo code Big Thing. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and hairstylists recommend NUTRAFOL for healthier hair. Go to NUTRAFOL.com/men, NUTRAFOL.com/men, but enter that code Big Thing. NUTRAFOL.com/men, promo code Big Thing. This episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Come on, let's do it. Let's talk about sex. Hey guys, remember the days when you were always ready to go? Everybody, you're like, yeah, back in the day, go whenever I wanted to. Well, now you can increase your performance. You can get that extra confidence in bed. Listen up, BlueChew.com. Blue Chew's no joke. It's pretty great. It's a unique online service, and it delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in chewable tablets at a fraction of the cost. You can take them whenever, daytime, night. You can plan ahead, be ready whenever that opportunity arises. And the process is super simple. You sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you are approved, then you receive your prescription within days. And the best part? All online. No visit to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package. So, for me, yes, it works. And the thing is, you know, I didn't think I needed it, but hey, you try it for a month and you see, you love it. You could be missing out on the best sex of your life. I'm telling you. They always say first impressions are important. What about lasting impressions? Do it. Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. They do. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. Chew it and do it. Love that. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. You got to try Blue Chew free, but you got to use that promo code BIGTHING at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com. Promo code BIGTHING to receive your first month free. Yeah, do you hear that? Free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we got to thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the pod. All right, guys. Blue Chew, I'm telling you, it's the best. Roxy, any dates that you would need a subscription?
Oh my God.
Or no?
No. Oh my God, Kristian.
Not good
I
stuff?
told you the last time. It's a whole too long of a conversation.
long
We'll
this
wait till
time?
Brett's here. But
Okay.
I went on
A bad
I
date.
went on the dates. Remember the guy?
I saw the TikTok date. I
Somebody
think.
was but not that guy. The guy flew in and the whole thing.
Yeah.
You talk about your dates on this show?
Yeah.
We don't talk about it on our show. I
You
feel
don't
jealous
ask me.
now.
That's
That's
my-
fair.
hey.
That's fair. That's a good point.
I would tell
Don't
DJ.
steal my shtick, DJ.
Also, DJ.
I don't do the personal stuff. I don't
DJ
do
is
the personal stuff.
I don't know if you know this. DJ is like the most by far and away private person I host with.
Oh.
Like I know 5 things about you, DJ,
Yeah,
and we've been working together for a decade.
Yeah, I keep my shit on lock. I don't like.
And
to
you're my
share it.
actual friend.
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
he is so close to the chest. So I think you think it would make me uncomfortable, but
No,
That is what you're correct. That is what I would think. I was like, I'm not going to ask Roxy. That make her feel uncomfortable.
no,
Let's
I've
just
been
talks
going.
about
I've been
full-on-
trying.
full-on
but
dates.
holy crap,
Yeah.
it's been really, really hard.
Because if I was dating you, asked me, I'd be like, I'm not saying that shit on air. Are you
yeah,
kidding me?
yeah, I do this thing where I share a lot of my life with people, and I don't know that that's a smart choice.
Well, let me ask you this. How's the neighbor doing?
I think she's gone.
Oh, is she?
I think she's gone because now the guy moved another girl in.
Oh, it's weird shit going on over there.
I don't know what to make of
What's
it.
weirder, the multiverse or what's going on over there?
It might be the multiverse over there.
Maybe it is.
We don't know.
All right, Roxy, we got some TV stuff, and then we're gonna get out of here. So we missed a few TV. There's a few things going on. What do you want to talk about first?
Okay, let's talk about TD, True Detective. This is the season is going a little bit slow. Some people are already falling off. I'm getting a lot of
really?
people who are messaging me saying that this one isn't for them. I don't feel that way.
I like it a lot.
I'm liking this
Yeah, me
season. I have a few friends who decided to watch season 1 again before this. That's a really bad idea. Season 1 is going to be better than this
Yes.
season. It's not a comparison to season 1. It wasn't even supposed to be a True Detective season, apparently.
Oh, really?
So,
That might have been a mistake.
yeah, that's what I heard the other day, and I was like, "Ooh, so is it going to turn supernatural?"
Yeah.
But it already is supernatural.
Yeah.
This season, not the
Yeah.
show in general.
No.
So I think
There's
that's
been elements, kind of.
But and then the other thing is the other seasons are more cosmic horror horror. Like if they go anywhere near horror, it's cosmic horror, and this is more traditional, like the Thing almost horror.
Agreed.
Yeah, but I'm really liking it because I'm loving the relationships and I'm loving the actual mystery, right? Like what we're dealing with the people that are merged together in that ice block, and the relationship of Jodie Foster and the guy I love, and Jodie Foster and the other woman Navarro I'm loving too.
Yeah.
So because of that,
it's almost like Jodie Foster's like real good.
It's almost like she's an unbelievable actress who's very enticing to watch.
And whoever you pair her with, she's going to do good.
Right. So I'm liking the show because I think that it's got enough going on that it's really captured my attention. But I know that for some people, it's never going to be as good as season 1 in that way. So.
I liked 1. I liked 3. And I really liked the season so far. So I'm 3 in. So what's next?
The better show this year was Fargo. Fargo ended a few episodes ago, and they actually had a lot of similarities, Fargo and True Detective, because both taking place with a lot of detective work, both in very cold weather locations, a lot of snow stuff going on.
A group of scientists frozen together, surprisingly, in Fargo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fargo was so good this year. I fell off last season.
How many seasons are there right now?
I think this is the 5th.
Oh, wow.
I think you're right. Yeah.
And I don't think I watched 3 or 4 because I hadn't been hearing enough about it. I thought that Fargo this season, it had its finale. I thought it stuck the landing. Some people were upset by it, but I thought they nailed it. Juno Temple and John Hamm are both so great.
It just makes so much more sense now. I went to the Critics' Choice Awards, and I said this too, and I was sitting.
Juno Temple?
I was literally
something about Ted Lasso?
But no. Now that you say it, I realize I was sitting next to the Fargo table.
Gotcha.
Because
and you were like, "What's Juno Temple and John Hamm doing next to each other?"
I was like, "What's John Hamm here to do?" I've never seen an episode of Fargo. So
and I talked to them about Dupa Lipa, and they just didn't play.
Dupes.
Yeah.
I said, "You guys see Dupes over there?"
You should watch this season of Fargo. You can just jump in.
You can just jump in. You won't be lost. It doesn't connect to other stuff.
Not at all.
Okay.
It's an anthology.
Okay,
Did you
okay.
watch this season?
No. Similar to you, I've watched the first 2 seasons and then dropped off.
Yeah, I thought this season was absolutely excellent and just proved to me that, like, if Juno Temple had been Bryce Dallas Howard, we would have been cooking with gas. I mean, she is
She's great.
so nasty. Like, I love her from Ted Lasso and a million other things, but I didn't realize that she had this in her.
Yeah.
She's really good.
Okay.
She's really good.
All right, so
I thought that
check
was
out
great.
Fargo then. Okay, what's next?
Can't speak highly enough about Ted. I recommend watching it by yourself. The reason I recommend watching it by yourself is because you will laugh at really, really inappropriate, not okay jokes.
I started watching it with my 12-year-old for about 2 minutes, and I said, "Nope, nope."
Did you keep watching it by yourself?
No, I haven't.
This show was really funny. It doesn't have business being as funny as it was. I would be mortified if anybody saw how hard I was laughing at some of the jokes that are super duper not PC. Seth MacFarlane does a great job with this show, but it's like the sense of humor is not elevated. It is like trash humor, just like Ted is. I had a great time with it. And I think the kid that plays
Jan Wahlberg?
Yes, is a star.
Okay.
I love him. I think he is amazing. DJ, why are you smiling at me?
No, I'm listening. I'm actively listening.
Oh, good.
And I'm secretly kind of hoping you're going to bring up The Curse.
Yeah, I'm definitely bringing up The Curse.
Okay.
DJ got me on this show, The Curse.
Okay.
You didn't do this one, Kristian?
I don't know what this is.
This is the Nathan Fielder, Safdie, Emma Stone show.
Oh, right. This is the one that Nolan was talking about. Christopher Nolan was raving about.
Really?
I didn't listen to it, but I guess he hosted a panel with Safdie and Nathan Fielder, and I'm like, excuse me, what?
That is bizarre.
Yeah.
So if you saw Nathan For You and then saw The Rehearsal, this is the third big Nathan Fielder show, but this is a scripted show. And it is really cringe, awkward, weird, bizarro. Cringe is my favorite genre of television. DJ immediately after watching this was like, Roxy, you got to watch this because this is so up your alley. He was absolutely right. They took a huge swing for the finale, Kristian. They decided to do something that I don't think any other show has ever decided to do.
Yeah.
It was truly bizarre. And because of that, I think that they deserve every cookie that they're getting, which is a lot, because they could have fallen flat on their face. Some people are not.
Yeah, I was just talking to Steve.
And he didn't like
speaking
it?
of the movie, he did not like the finale. Yeah.
And I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think people who don't like this finale, that is a fair assessment. They did something so weird and so wild that if you don't like it, I can't convince you to like it. I can't be like, well, actually, did you understand the metaphor of the... It's like, if you didn't like it, then it didn't work for you. But for DJ...
Well, I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. I was a big... and it was one of those, I'd heard people... I watched it late, and I'd heard people like, I can't believe, it was so surreal or whatever. I'm like, whatever. And then I was watching, I'm like, you can't prepare for it. You can't watch the show and prepare for it.
I think you would not like the finale.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that you would really like the show. You would be super invested in it. That you get to the finale and you would say, what the actual fuck?
No.
Okay.
Why'd you guys do that?
All right. So what's so we got 2 left.
Okay, Has Been Hotel is an animated show that initially was on YouTube for a pilot 4 years ago. Amazon picked it up, and then they did an entire season of it. Tonight, Thursday night, the last 2 episodes of season 1 are dropping.
Okay.
I am completely obsessed. I'm covering this for Real Rejects. I never would have watched it otherwise because it's an animated show, and I don't do animated usually. It reminds me a lot of Harley Quinn, the animated series, though. The premise of this is that it is the Princess of Hell. She is the daughter of Lucifer and Lilith, and she has decided that all the people in hell, even though she wasn't sent there, they are all her people, and they are getting executed, and she wants to save them. It is super dark, raunchy. Like, this is as R gets, especially episode 4. It's unbelievably done. Makes you question who decides who goes to heaven, who goes to hell, what are the prerequisites, and who even makes those decisions, and how are you stuck with that forever? It's very interesting, kind of like the conversations we were having earlier on this show. Just as one of those shows that makes you think, like, if everything's gray, then what's that 1% difference that makes you go to heaven or hell?
Yeah.
And every episode I walk away, and for at least like an hour afterwards, I'm like, wow, do I believe that? Do I not believe it? Like, for me, how would I make that decision? It's one of those that makes you really, really think. Excellent. And then this is the one that's the most talked about show of the year 2024 so far, Masters of the Air. I think this show's unreal.
I watched the first part of episode 1, like the first 10 minutes.
What did you think?
I loved it. We were...
And it looks amazing right off the bat.
We had just finished some other show. We started watching it because my wife had her tea, and she's like, let's just start watching it. We started watching it, and then we both realized we were exhausted. So we're picking this back up. But I loved Band of Brothers. It was one of my favorite miniseries of all time.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
When this show was announced, every single person, I'm sure, thinks to themselves, do we really need another World War II show? Do we really need another World War? Oh, it's a fair way to feel because we have so much World War II content. Obviously, I'm a huge, I was gonna say World War II fan. That's not the way to describe it. This is something that's connected me and my grandfather for years. Sure. Obviously, he was in the 8th Air Force, and I grew up learning all about this. Not to mention, obviously, me being Jewish and this being a very important war for us. So but even me. There's so many war movies. I'm just like, what different story could they be telling here? Did you check this out yet?
Not yet.
Okay, so what I really love is in the first episode, what you're really feeling is these are effing kids who do not know what they're doing any better than any one of us would know if all of a sudden you're thrown into war, what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And a lot of the war shows were kind of like in the middle of it. And I feel like this catches people earlier on in their journey where they're all trying to figure out, and also it shows you the differences in between how the British people, the British Army and Air Force, how they're dealing with this versus the United States and the tactical decisions they make, and just every decision leads to saving lives or losing lives, and it's done really well. Not to mention Barry Keoghan,
Elvis.
Yes, Austin Butler, the guy that dates Dua Lipa.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. The blonde dude, what's his name? He's dating Dua Lipa. Dupes, our girl.
Does Elvis still sound like Elvis?
He kind of does.
Okay.
I don't think he can kick it. He's trying.
Yeah.
He's just
apparently he hired a dialect coach to get back to normal. It's like that's wild. I mean,
he's very insecure about it. You can tell when on interviews and stuff too. I feel bad for him.
I do too, because at the first I thought he was doing this on purpose and it was a shtick, and now I'm like, I don't think this guy knows who he
Yeah.
can get back to center, but he's not fully Elvis. He's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
We've all
you
seen
know,
Tropic Thunder, Robert Downey Jr. Austin Butler's doing that.
I can't wait to see him in Dune, but it's another conversation.
Yeah.
Elvis could be in World War II. So, you know, like
He was.
yeah, just say like the voice. It's not like the voice is like, well, that doesn't fit for the character.
Yeah,
It's like,
right.
okay, this works.
Right.
Really good. Just as I'm watching it, I'm like blown away by how
Okay.
it's shot.
2 episodes so far?
The third episode is the night that this airs.
No.
Oh, it comes out on Thursdays.
Yeah,
Okay.
Apple.
Apple.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I'll be watching because I love Band of Brothers. Did do what you said though. Band of Brothers started
It
you
did.
on their journey, but yeah, you're right. Though mostly they're just kind of thrown into
Yeah,
it.
it did, but I'm loving the way that they're talking about it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
especially with the differences between Americans and Brits. It is really strong in this.
All right. Well, there you go. What a stacked episode today was, man. We got the simulation theory in there. We got we got a great movie coming out that you can see that you can help with and be a producer on. You got TV choices. You got Argylle that you're probably not going to see. You got all these different things. So thanks for joining us here today. I'd like to thank my panel. Start with our guest, DJ. Where can they find you? What can they do?
Please go to gunplaymovie.com, back this movie, help support it, help make it happen, be a part of making this movie. You can find me at DJ Talks Trash, and you can find the show Roxy and I Do Only Stupid Answers everywhere podcasts are heard.
Roxy Stryer.
Yeah, all those things, and everywhere at Roxy Stryer. I'm posting stuff for Gunplay Movie, and just you can check out my social and see all the videos. I did one today, and I think it deserves more likes. I spent time on it. Kristian, you haven't even liked it yet.
Oh,
Check it out.
I will.
If you want to, if you hate my UAP opinions, go support gunplaymovie.com.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, that'd be good. Well,
Yeah.
just don't
Show
say
me.
it. Just
Show me.
Just don't say it on the Tuesday episode.
Yeah, put me in my place.
Speaking of which, make sure you check us out. I know that right now, as I check, and again, hopefully by tomorrow it's a little different, but we are at 122,679,000, trying to get to 200,000. So if you guys hit that button, you'll help us out. So hit the button, subscribe to the channel, be part of the conversation. Thanks for joining us here today. I'd like to thank both DJ and Roxy for joining us. We'll see you guys on the flip side. Peace.